Estamos aquí en el Q&A de Tyler, Puerto Rico Comic Con 2025.
If you need to get your question translated, ask our staff. They will be happy to help.
Como aquí a Carmen y a Joel.
Please, no personal requests.
Silent lo que hay.
Reading script passages, birthday or special occasion greetings, etc. All questions will be screened before being presented to our special guest. Prior your turn, you must sell the question and answer those staffers.
Welcome to Puerto Rico!
How is your Spanish? Do you know any Spanish? Oh, that's very good. So you just arrived today, or?
I just got in last night.
How's being Puerto Rico treating you lately?
Nice. The people are very friendly. Normal.
Okay, great. So we got some questions from the audience, so feel free to let us know. But Pete, we're celebrating Superman Day, so you have any questions for our Superman?
I have to say, I'm a huge fan of your Superman. I truly believe it's the best live-action Superman since Chris Reeve, and I mean that.
Closer, like that. Let's go. That better? There's always a lot of you and your characters, but I think also my dad part. I don't have kids yet, so channeling my dad's energy.
You make a great dad.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of my dad is a big part of Clark.
Were you a Superman fan before this?
What?
Were you a Superman fan before?
Superman was not part of my growing up.
Really?
No, I really wasn't. I was playing baseball really competitively
Yeah.
and acting and going to school as a kid, so I watched a lot of things, but I wasn't as engrossed in film and TV as I had a little bit more time later in my 20s. It just wasn't like Batman was the character I kind of grew up with, and Superman just wasn't really on my radar. So it's, I think, probably for the best, the fact that I didn't know it so well when I got the job made it less of this daunting thing of like, oh, I'm playing this character that I've watched my whole life.
Yeah.
I was able to just kind of look at it very much face value, like who is Clark and who is Superman, and figure out who he is. So I think it's probably worked out for the best.
One question I've always wanted to ask you. I think, I might be wrong, but I think you're the actor who has had the most Superman suits ever in an action. Somebody correct me, but I've counted like 9 different variations of it.
Man.
Is there a favorite one or a more comfortable one that stands out?
I don't know if I'd phrase it that way.
They're all comfortable. Okay, we get it.
I would say I really liked. I mean, the one that stands out the most to me is the Fleischer suit that we did in the pilot and in the flashback episodes. Yeah, I only got to wear it a few times, and I think because of that, and the nostalgia of it, that's the one that stands out the most.
You have a question?
Okay, so I want to start with our Q&As. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi Tyler, my name is Carlos. First of all, welcome to Puerto Rico. I am a big Superman fan and I enjoy Superman always since the beginning to the end. I cried a lot of series finale. So I thank you for that. And my question is, I met you in New Jersey back in 2018 in Heroes and Villains Fan Fest.
Only because I don't want you to have to say it twice, man. Honestly, I can't hear anything you're saying on the mic with the sound. Could they just maybe come to the front and just ask? Come to the front and just ask from here, man. Sorry, 'cause I can't hear with the microphone. Yeah. Great, there you go. I can hear you now. I didn't hear any of it. Yeah. No, I'm trying to think. I think I've done the comic at least, probably since at least 2012. So San Diego Comic Con was the first one we did, and that was in 2000. I want to say that was in like 2010. I think it would have been like 2010 or 2011 when we went to our first Comic Con in San Diego. It was not a warm welcome. People were not excited that we were doing Teen Wolf. They were very unhappy. They were very, very unhappy. One of the first questions we got was, "Why are you ruining my childhood?" Yeah, well, we hadn't done the show yet. The only thing we did was we showed like a 10-minute clip of something that we had shot as like a teaser to show the network, and that was it. And so there were a lot of critics who were upset that we were taking a beloved Michael J. Fox piece of IP and turning it into what we turned it into. But then the good part of that story is the next year we went back and we had like a standing room only crowd and people loved it. The rest is kind of history. So yeah, it's been a long time doing this. Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, absolutely. That's my first time being at this one. I got a few more this year, so yeah, absolutely. It's the nice thing about having a little bit more of an open schedule is you can fit a few more of these in.
Next up,
Hello, my name.
come closer.
Okay, so up here, the sound just like goes to the back, and we can't really hear it.
And hi, my name is William, and I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the new Superman movie coming out in July?
Sorry, not without the microphone. I haven't seen anything more than you guys have seen. I've seen the trailer. I'm excited for it. I think David's going to do a great job. I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, so I'm excited to see what James Gunn has done with it. And yeah, I'm excited that it's a few months away now. It's like, I mean, really, really close.
So you were more of a Batman fan, you said. Having played Superman, are you more of a fan of the character now than you were before?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I played him many years as I did was because I was a fan of who I came to know him. I think he stands for and what he represents. Those were the reasons why it was a character that I felt was worthwhile pursuing many, many years of my life now, 8 years. But yeah, I absolutely love what he represents. I finally finished watching the Christopher Reeve documentary on the way here. What an amazing story. And I honestly didn't know the whole story. I didn't grow up with it, so I always knew who he was. But if you haven't seen that documentary, watch it. It's incredible. Amazing. And I think a lot of the things that Christopher always believed that he stood for and things like that, it's consistent with the character, and I think it's important. So, yeah.
Awesome. Next question, please.
There you go. For the first few years I played the character, it was on, Supergirl and the crossovers and things like that. So I was always very aware, like, I'm here to support these other leads in their shows and be a part of this. But then, once we started doing our show, it's been 4 years, but it's also only been 4 years. So it's just now starting to kind of like sink in the amount of time playing the character and the fact that, yeah, there are some people out there and some kids out there who that's the they've grown up with. So that's all just kind of really starting to sink in a little bit. And it's awesome, man. I mean, I think, like I said, I love what the character stands for. And I think it's important. So, very humbled and honored to represent that for the time that I did. And, again, in that documentary, it's like, Christopher Reeve said, yes, that's something I did, but who got to know me that way, I'll always be that to them. But it's a weird thing to get used to, but very honored.
Great. Go ahead.
Thank you for coming. What is the biggest
realization you've had about yourself while portraying a character, and what character was it?
That my core strength is not strong enough for Superman. No, I'm kidding. No, greatest realization playing any character?
Yes, any character, even the voice.
Oh, wow. Realization. Probably when I was on there was probably third. It was like the second half of the third season or the fourth season, and it's kind of when Derek really became comfortable with finding out who he actually was without it being tied to being alpha. I was going through something similar after my baseball playing days had ended. That was very much my identity, was a baseball player, even though I've been active since I was young, so I'm always a baseball player. And I had to identify with another, that is where I feel that's the box that I'm in. But
The reception of the microphone
Derek
is
having that
bad.
realization, like who I am is not able to put on the leader of the group, this or that. It's just who I am. I think I was kind of coming to that same time as season. So yeah, I'd probably say that.
Hey Tyler, it's an honor to meet you. This question is only if you can answer. As you know, we had a lot of Supermans. Christopher Reeves, Brandon Routh, Henry Cable. Now we're gonna have Dave. Are there like any specific take on the character that you like and maybe took more inspiration from?
I gotta be honest. I'm so glad I was honest about this answer 7 years ago or whenever the first time I got it was. I've never seen and stuff, and I don't say that in any way of like being like, oh, I've never seen it. I have so much respect for anyone and everyone who's ever participated in any of these stories of these characters. I just didn't grow up with the character, and when I knew I was going to play the role, I had a few decisions. I was either going to watch everything or watch nothing. And I know the way that my mind works. I prepare for something or approach a role. Anything that I had watched somebody else, I immediately would have said, okay, so I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. And I would have actively avoided any of those things. So knowing that, I chose to stay away from everything just so that I could come to the role the way that I wanted to, play it the way I wanted to. And if there's something similar to something I did, great. Something that's completely new and opposite, I have no idea. So, when people ask me like, what separates you, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And what did you do to try to separate? Nothing. I just tried to play the character the way that our writers presented it, with the lines we had, what are the relationships with the characters. So yeah, I'm inspired by the fact that this character's been around for so long and there have been take it on. I have a lot of respect for that. It's just I didn't throw myself into it at a time, just give myself the freedom and work.
How did you prepare for that role? Did you read Superman comic books? Or did you just base your character on the script?
So I had the writers send me, our showrunner, I said, what are the comics you guys are kind of going off of? And I said, you guys send me those. I went through those, and again, the thing with TV is that it's not like a film where they go, here's the script. And you look at the script and go, okay, so there's the beginning, middle, and end. Right on. Now I know what to go and research to, kind of infuse everything in here. With TV, you have the pilot, and then we ended up doing 53 episodes. So I know one episode out of 53 that we're gonna do. And even then, like the writers don't necessarily know exactly what every episode is gonna be. So with TV, I find it that it's a little bit better to be a little more flexible, as opposed to over-preparing, where you kind of feel like, oh, but in the comics they did this, like, yeah, but we're not doing that. Well, now I might already have an idea of like, yeah, but in the comics. So for me, I did it enough to be aware of where they were taking inspiration from without feeling too tied into what was already there. So yeah, read some of the comics. Honestly, read a lot of stuff just like online, whether it was Wikipedia or like fan stuff about things, just like how they view the character and what they see the character as, and just trying to get a sense. But I don't know. I felt like the first meeting I ever had with Greg Berlanti about the character, I felt like I understood it like really simply, and I think that was one of the things I wanted to do is that instead of overcomplicating it, I really wanted to keep it simple to who he was, because I genuinely think that's how he kind of sees things. He sees things very clearly, like good and bad, and just
Black and white.
I mean, not black and white. I think he's very empathetic to people's situations, but at the end of the day, for him, the way that he chooses to go about things, I think was like it's just very simple. Like I want to do good. I want to do good for everyone, and like, that was try to keep it as simple as that.
Hi. I wanted to know what was it like voicing Sephiroth, one of the most iconic video game characters.
It was very fun, man. I gotta be honest, I didn't know a lot about that character going into it, and funny enough, I went in and auditioned for it, and I want to say it was like at least a year later that I got an email saying, "Hey, congrats, they're offering you the role of Sephiroth." Thing. I was like, "They're still doing that?" I thought that was done. It was so long ago. It took forever. So I was really surprised that I was even doing it, and it was a good experience. It was a completely different kind of challenge, completely different kind of work. You're not on set with multiple people. You're in a box by yourself, and you got headphones on, and you can hear yourself talk, and you're going like with I don't know how it is with like an original game. Maybe you do a little bit more performing, and then they match it to that. But with the remake, we had to like match the file size of the Japanese. So you're working within a lot of technical stuff that's a little bit limiting creatively. So it was a completely different kind of challenge than I'd had like being on set my whole life. So. But it was very cool. Loved getting to know the character. I loved getting to know the fan base. It's awesome. It seems like people are just now finding out that I did that. It was a couple of years ago, but it's really cool. I like the fandom around it is anything that I work on that gets like a passionate fan base. It's so cool to be a part of something like that, because there's plenty of things you work on that no one ever knows about. Sometimes you're really happy about that. But this one has been very, very fun.
I had to ask because in other Comic Cons, nobody asked about that. I didn't ask the question. But I'm like, you did an amazing job. I still cannot believe it's you. Like, amazing range.
We all feel like that.
Thank you.
Not to put like Sephiroth in a square, but would you prefer it, or would you like to do more villains?
Villains are just a different kind of fun. Like, I mean, I like the heroes because I like people who stand for good things. I like people who's like, I'm a fan of Superman. But to go in and play a character, it's just a different kind of fun. At the end of the day, there are certain things that, unless Superman is like under a spell or something's going on, you're never going to be able to do with that character. So Bizarro was a fun way to like still be in that character, but the rules are gone, and so you can kind of a lot of different things. Villains, there's just no. You know what I mean? It's wide open. You can totally just play and have fun and push it as far as you can. And so it's just a different kind of approach. No, I'd love to catch a game, love to hang at the beach, and just kind of be around the culture and be out. And, I always find that if you can kind of go out and find where the music is, then you kind of get to know a place a little bit. So I feel like there's good music here, there's good movement, good dance, and things like that. So one of these days I'll get back down and explore that aspect of it.
You'll have a great time.
Do you have a dream project you would like to do, like something in your bucket list you really would like to do in your career?
Again, I probably wouldn't put it in the category of I hope it's happening, but I mean like something that I always would love to do would be like an Indiana Jones type thing. I love a good action adventure thing, and I don't know that I don't know that it's Indiana Jones in particular, but just something that has that kind of spirit would be really fun. So I don't know if it's a futuristic version of it. I don't know if it's going even further back in time. But I love the adventure explorer kind of thing. I love to travel. I love to see world and places. So anything where you feel like you're taken to a different world is always really cool.
I see you as a 1930s kind of adventure explorer thing. I see you perfectly right for that, so that would be awesome.
I would love that.
Bueno, Joel, aquí está Joel con su photo op de Tiger, con Tyler. Joel, cuéntame esa experiencia, mano.
Brutal, de verdad que el tipo es buena gente, bien sociable, agradable, simpático. Definitivamente valió la pena la inversión del photo op, porque no todos son así. O sea, y ahora en el Q&A que estuvimos casi ahora, bien agradable, sociable, definitivamente, mano, con más razón, el personaje, el carácter de tanto de Clark Kent como Superman,
exacto,
le quedó brutal.
Brutal. Tiene toda la razón.
Para mí él viene siendo como un second best después de Dean Cain, porque Dean Cain también está cabrón. Pero mi respeto a Tyler, mi respeto. Y gracias a ti, John, que fuiste que me inculcaste a esta serie que yo desconocía. Sí. Y la empecé a ver y me juqueé.
Tenías que verla obligado.
Me juqueé, pero una cosa brutal. Una pena que se acabó ya, pero nos la disfrutamos al máximo.
De principio a fin.
Sigan coleccionando.
Bueno, aquí está Carmen con la foto con Tyler. Esto fue en el Megacon en Orlando. La traigo aquí para que Tyler nuevamente pues la viera, ¿verdad? Para que sepa que la conoció también ahí allá y ella a él. Carmen, cuéntame la experiencia hasta ahora. ¿Te ha gustado el Comic Con? ¿Qué piensas sobre Tyler?
Sí, me gusta el Comic Con. Hasta ahora ha sido una buena experiencia. Tyler, tremenda persona, ha demostrado mientras, ¿verdad? En el Q&A se ve que es una persona cálida, graciosa y espontánea. Así que me encanta. Como ser humano, pues lo que ha demostrado es tremendo.
Muchas gracias. Seguiremos aquí en el Puerto Rico Comic Con. Estamos aquí en el Centro de Convenciones de Puerto Rico, ¿verdad? Acabando de ver el Q&A de Tyler. Aquí está el photo que me pude tomar por segunda vez. Acompañando a Joel, me salió esta suerte después de tomarme la foto nuevamente con Tyler, pues ya yo lo había conocido en el Megacon, pero lo pude conocer nuevamente aquí en el Centro de Convenciones aquí del Comic Con de Puerto Rico Comic Con. Estamos ahora esperando para hacer la fila para el autógrafo, porque quiero que me firme el cuadrito. Le pongo la firma de Tyler, ya que no tengo ninguna. Y seguir disfrutando. Este tipo ha sido tremendo Superman, la serie me encantó desde el principio. Hizo tremendo Superman y tremendo Clark Kent. La verdad que mis respetos a Tyler. Y ahora conociéndolo por segunda vez, tremendo tipo, buena gente, humilde, con los fans, todo el mundo, de verdad que uno se volvió más fanático de él todavía. Así que, sigan coleccionando. Ricardo, que tuviste la oportunidad, aunque sea de verlo ahí, ¿verdad?
Otra mano, pude ver al hombre ahí, a Tyler, tremenda persona, bro. Él tiene un carisma, tremendo actor, de verdad.
De verdad que sí.
Un gran Superman. De verdad que sí.
Aquí tenemos a Carmen. Carmen, ¿qué te pareció el Q&A?
Esperanzador e informativo.
Seguiremos informando.